Ladies and gentlemen, do a word search right now. Go to, just Google full Mueller report. You'll get read the Mueller report, CNN politics. And then you'll get the actual Mueller report. And you could do a word search on it, Downer. Not Alexander Dumbo Downer, just put Alexander Downer or Downer. You will find no reference to the man that helped start this entire fiasco, hoax, myth. They keep saying that the Steele dossier was not what started all of this. This was the New York Times report right here. How the Russia inquiry began, a campaign to aid drinks and talk of political dirt. Not only was Alexander Downer not interviewed by Mueller, not only is he a central figure in all of this, he is not even referenced in the report. Now, I did a segment, Peter Strzok is referenced once. Peter Strzok, the guy who said, "We will stop Trump." I have a wonderful viewer who always watches, and I thank you, and he happens to disagree with me all the time, but he's wonderful, and I thank you. He's been watching for a long time. And he commented, he said, well, why would they? He was a minor player and all. No. Peter Strzok was one of the central figures in both the Clinton email cover-up, where he deleted 5 references to gross negligence, which would have linked her directly to U.S. Code 793F. Now she's saying that Trump should be indicted for obstruction, which is hilarious, as she destroyed cell phones, wiped servers clean, deleted emails that were subpoenaed, deleted 30-plus thousand emails. It's hilarious. The audacity is unbelievable. The projection of guilt, like everything she's guilty of, she projects onto Trump. Like everything. But the guy who started all of this, even before the Steele dossier, to Adam Schiff and to others, they say, well, the Steele dossier purchased by Clinton was just one of many things, or one of 2 big things. How the Russia inquiry began, a campaign aid drinks and talk of political dirt. This is a very important segment, ladies and gentlemen. I've read the entire Mueller report. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's like legal theory mixed with a bunch of categorical, grandiose claims that are not backed up by anything but a CrowdStrike assessment. And CrowdStrike was outsourced by the Democratic Party. And James Comey admitted best practices are to obtain servers and analyze them at the FBI headquarters. He didn't do that. He relied on a third-party tech firm that the Democrats outsourced. Gee, I wonder why they didn't just call Trump Strike. Trump has a tech company. Why don't they just call Trump Strike? Or let's say he doesn't. Let's say he just knows somebody. I'm sure he has friends in the tech industry, knows a great forensics and analysis company. They didn't do that because obviously they would say, well, Republicans analyzing our servers is a conflict of interest. Aha! It's a conflict of interest, imbeciles. Therefore, why would we trust you? The indictments of the intelligence officers from Mueller say Company 1. Company 1 is CrowdStrike. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It matters, but this is another one of the many overt, glaring examples of why this is all nonsense. Why nobody on YouTube or on the left with a major liberal platform would debate me, because I would eviscerate them. And I would use New York Times and Washington Post and Daily Beast articles. New York Times, how the Russia inquiry began, a campaign aid drinks and talk of political dirt. Exactly how much Mr. Papadopoulos said that night at the Kensington Wine Room with the Australian Alexander Downer is unclear. Well, I mean, my goodness, this guy must be in the Mueller report. Not long after, however, he opened up to Mr. Downer, the Australian diplomat, about his contacts with the Russians. It is unclear whether Mr. Downer was fishing for that information the night in May 2016. And it started with Papadopoulos allegedly, and he wasn't charged with this, he was charged with lying to the FBI, and if you look at really what happened, he didn't have a date correctly. He didn't give them the date of an email. That was viewed as a big lie. And then they got him on obstruction for deleting a Facebook account. Clinton deletes tens of thousands of emails. No, 33,000 emails, sorry. Deletes subpoenaed emails, and, well, no, she didn't obstruct any justice. But he deleted his Facebook account, and they got Papadopoulos on obstructing justice. Okay? And then he just pled to not knowing the date of an email sent, which was this big, grandiose lie. It had nothing to do with collusion. But anyway, The guy who started all of this, the guy who started the Mueller probe, the guy who started all of this in a conversation, Papadopoulos was drinking the truth serum of alcohol. Okay, alcohol is not a truth serum. These people are hilarious. Okay? Sometimes people, give you the true feelings, and sometimes they're just, out of their mind on alcohol. Alcohol is not the substance that you want to get people to give you information. It's not this. This is like Wonder Woman's lasso. They're like, he spilled the goods. He spilled the goods. Okay? They didn't interview Joseph Mifsud either. The professor from Gilligan's Island has more contacts with Russia, but this guy was supposed to be this Russian asset or operative that had access to Clinton's emails, and he promised Papadopoulos. First of all, if Clinton's emails were hacked, it's a national security concern. This is hilarious. They've cloaked her criminality in this, absurd, you said that they wanted Clinton's emails? It was, apparently her emails were about yoga and wedding planning, and she never sent or received anything marked classified. So which one is it? Are you trying to say that people had her top secret and special access program intelligence? No. That was actually given to the U.S. government. And that was located on servers where she illegally transferred those emails onto servers outside of the U.S. But Alexander Downer is not mentioned here. You want to know who else isn't mentioned? Oh, only Fusion GPS. Only the firm that's literally Fusion GPS is not mentioned. How about Glenn Simpson? No, he's not mentioned. This is a 400-page report. You mention Peter Strzok once. You don't mention Alexander Downer at all. Never mentions Alexander Downer. Yet the Papadopoulos conversation is what this whole fiasco started from. And he was speaking to Downer. And you don't mention Glenn Simpson, the guy who met before and after with Natalia Veselnitskaya in the Trump Jr. meeting, where he had the, oh my God, the chutzpah, the audacity to get poor Hillary Clinton's emails. They've made and lionized this mythology around Clinton's emails when it is basically evidence of her criminal behavior. This is hilarious. It would be the equivalent of, Clinton robs a bank and, Papadopoulos wanted access to the getaway car. Clinton's getaway car? Other countries have been trying to obtain Clinton's getaway car after she, stole millions from that bank. It's like, no. If people are trying to obtain Clinton's emails, that's an example of her criminality. Apparently, her emails are everywhere floating around the planet. And they contain classified and special access program intelligence. This is the biggest. This is what they have done is they have masked the biggest scandal in U.S. history. And they've wrapped it up into this reverence for Mueller and this outrage that anyone would want dirt on Clinton, whereas she actually purchased a Steele dossier from Glenn Simpson and Fusion GPS. That was another hallmark, another foundation of the beginning, the origins of all of this nonsense. The Papadopoulos conversation and the Steele dossier, the basis of both of these both of these things is not mentioned in the Mueller report. Alexander Downer is never mentioned. Glenn Simpson is never mentioned. Fusion GPS is never mentioned. Now, the Steele dossier is discussed a little bit, but it's like they don't make any connection to the fact that Clinton purchased and outsourced the Steele dossier by funneling money through her law firm. They don't see the conflicts of interest. And if I ever debated here, Democratic-leaning Mueller Axios. Okay. The Democratic leanings of Bob Mueller's team. If I ever debated the wonderful Sam Cedar, I would ask, what if the tables were turned? or David Pakman or anyone on the left. James Quarles donated $33,000 to Democrats. What if Clinton, there was a special counsel that was investigating Clinton's uranium deal, and one of the lead investigators donated $33,000 to Republicans, including Trump and Ted Cruz. So this is James Quarles donated $33,000 to Democrats, including Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Jenny Rhee, who was an attorney, an outside attorney, on a Clinton Foundation case, if you can believe that, was on this Mueller probe, donated more than $16,000 since 2008 to Democrats, including the maximum donation possible to Clinton in both 2015 and 2016. What if an attorney investigating Clinton and a special counsel donated the maximum possible to President Trump or to Donald Trump? Do you think? I mean, they wouldn't stand for any of this if Trump purchased a Steele dossier, if the Republicans outsourced their own tech firm. They wouldn't stand for any of this. Andrew Weissman donated more than $4,000 to Obama in 2008. Elizabeth Prelogar donated to Clinton and Obama in 2012. Then Lisa Page was on this on this team at one point. She's the friends with benefits of Peter Strzok, who's only mentioned once. Bruce Orr is only mentioned once. He's the guy who gave the dossier to the FBI and actually said, hey, you know what? It's completely biased. You probably don't want to use this. But hey, you want to use this. All of them knew at the end of the day, all of them knew that if it didn't work out, they would be subjected to legal and political repercussions. So you have President Obama's Department of Justice saying, hey, you know, here's the Steele dossier, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but you probably don't want to use it. It's unverified. But if you want to use it, that's fine. And then they deceive FISA judges. None of this. Then I was listening to the debate between Sam Cedar and Michael Tracy. And Michael Tracy, I don't know why, one of Cedar's points was like, oh, well, we learned so much from the Mueller probe. No, we didn't. The Mueller probe is a rehash of the ODNI and DHS reports. Read the reports, political pundits on the left. Then there's this one guy... Forget about it. This one guy on Twitter who does he write for? This one guy on Twitter, American Bulwark, The Bulwark, and he makes libelous claims about me. But this guy has never read the ODNI and DHS reports that have warranty disclaimers. This guy doesn't explain that CrowdStrike, according to the Daily Beast, Vice, Gizmodo, the Washington Post, was outsourced by the Democratic Party. We have the United States government never confirmed the CrowdStrike images and copies of images of DNC servers. Then he makes absurd allegations of me that I'm not even going to bring up, but they're absolutely absurd. And if this guy continues, I will take legal action because it's libel. So, it's like, what's this guy's name? Christian Vanderbroek makes absurd allegations of me that are libelous. And he doesn't mention, he keeps saying the Mueller report says in this long-winded article about paranoia, which is kind of ironic. He doesn't mention that the Steele dossier was outsourced by Hillary Clinton. CrowdStrike was outsourced by the Democratic Party. The indictments of Russian intelligence officers, Company 1 is CrowdStrike. The United States government in the ODNI and DHS reports cite Company 1. Or no, sorry, and the indictments of Russian intelligence officers cite Company 1, and the ODNI and DHS reports have warranty disclaimers. So Christian Vanderbroek of the Bulwark, anytime you would like to debate on my channel, it's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. We can debate anything you'd like, buddy, even your allegations that are libelous of me. But I would suggest you calm down on the statements that are false. Not very good to write, well, anyway, that'll, That's a whole other story. There is no evidence. There is no evidence here. Absolutely no evidence of any claim made by the Mueller team. The obstruction claims, and like I said, the ODNI and DHS reports I can read alongside with Christian Vanderbroek. We can read the ODNI and DHS report warranty disclaimers where they say confidence should not be interpreted as a fact. Judgments could be wrong, and the NSA is moderately confident, and the CIA and FBI are highly confident. No one is certain. The two intelligence reports, the CrowdStrike assessment have never been guaranteed or confirmed by the United States government. You are relying on the opinions and the viewpoints and the assessments of people, not the guarantees, the certainty, or the absolute fact. So this guy is like part of the Bush administration, it says, served 8 years under George W. Bush. We could talk about George W. Bush's fantastic foreign policy also, and how that worked out, and the wonderful intelligence assessments that led up to that one, or those debacles, those blunders, those horrific decisions. There's not a shred of evidence given here, not even for obstruction, because he didn't obstruct anything because nobody said he committed a crime. They tried to get him, and I state in my Federalist article the actual statute they're going to get eventually Comey, Strzok, and McCabe under. McCabe's under criminal investigation, as is James Baker. Wonder why. And you have the three central players, well, 4 or 5, Alexander Downer and Glenn Simpson are two of the key players, the central figures in all of this. And nothing. No mention of them. And I've read the 400 pages of this. It's complete and utter nonsense. There's nothing that they back up with evidence. A CrowdStrike assessment is not evidence. A DHS and ODNI report is not evidence. James Clapper stated, and if I ever debated this guy, what's his name, Vanderbroek or Cedar or Packman or anyone else, I could go ahead and we can listen to right here. You always hear it on this channel. James Clapper stated on Chuck Todd, and I've stated this a million times on this channel. You've heard it a million times on this channel. There's no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Here, we can listen to it now. No evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Absolutely no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. And this is 1 month before the Mueller probe. So, James Clapper, no evidence. Chuck Todd. Sorry about that. Let's see. James Clapper, no evidence. Trump, Russia. Right here.
Does intelligence exist that can definitively answer the following question: whether there were improper contacts between the Trump campaign and Russian officials?
We did not include any evidence in our report, and I say our, that's NSA, FBI, and CIA with my office, the Director of National Intelligence, that had any reflection of collusion between members of the Trump campaign and the Russians. There was no evidence of that included in our report.
Are you listening? Political pundits, Mr. Vanderbroek, Christian Vanderbroek of the Bulwark. Let's hear it again. Let's hear it again. And you have a podcast. Why don't you play it on your podcast?
Does intelligence exist that can definitively answer the following question: whether there were improper contacts between the Trump campaign and Russian officials?
We did not include any evidence in our report, and I say our, that's NSA, FBI, and CIA with my office, the Director of National Intelligence, that had any reflection of collusion between members of the Trump campaign and the Russians. There was no evidence of that included in our report.
No evidence included in the ODNI or DHS reports, and no evidence in the Mueller team report. Obviously, there was no collusion, but there was no evidence before they investigated. Also, the Russians did not interfere. Tell me how many votes were altered in Florida, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. How many votes were altered in swing states? How many people in those swing states saw the Facebook ads, most of which were purchased and seen after the election? According to the vice president of Facebook, they weren't meant to elect Trump. They were meant to sow discord, as if correct the record, and Bernie getting cheated, and all of these events that took place that you blame on Russia, disgruntled liberal / neoconservative, Republican, liberal, whatever people. All of these events sowed discord on their own. You didn't need Facebook ads. Also, the DHS, the ODNI, and the Mueller team has zero evidence the DNC emails are linked to Russia. Zero. They make the statement based on ODNI and DHS reports that have warranty disclaimers saying these are just assessments. There are no guarantees and nothing is certain in what we say. So, at the end of the day, nobody who dislikes my viewpoints on anything will debate me. And I offer the debate to everyone I've mentioned. It's contactgoodman78@gmail.com on this channel. Anytime. 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 My pleasure. But the Mueller report does not mention Glenn Simpson, does not mention Fusion GPS, does not mention Alexander Downer, mentions Bruce Orr and Peter Strzok once apiece. Are you kidding me? And the Mueller team is composed not only of loyalists, but of people who are probably breaking down at the Jacob Javits Center when she lost. And also, for people who don't like my thoughts, in 2015, in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon, all went through editors, by the way. My thoughts all went through editors. I stated Clinton would lose and that she was unelectable. How did I know that? How did I know that Clinton was unelectable, that she would lose before any DNC alleged hack and before any Facebook ads that nobody saw? How did I know? It was obvious. Clinton referred to black youth as super predators. She helped destroy the country of Libya under Obama's administration. She has a litany of just horrific. She says she survived Bosnian sniper fire. We can go on forever. We can go on forever. She's a horrendous politician. She'll run again. And she'll lose again in 2020. But these people are so petulant. And they're so frightened of the truth that if they're ever called on their baloney, they'd wilt and just, melt. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Subscribe to this channel. Check out my writing in the Jerusalem Post, the Daily Caller, the Federalist. Definitely share my Federalist article below. My Patreon link is below. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen.